me for another video. Today we're going to do a finish which is rustic, but it isn't heavily distressed and it isn't heavily glazed. So it's a nice modern rustic finish that's nice and easy and goes well with a whole manner of decor. Big shout out to Sawtooth and Nail for the awesome t-shirt. I'm sorry it's probably going to get dirty really quick, but hey, t-shirt's a t-shirt. Stay tuned and thanks for watching.
So let's switch to narration mode so that we don't get all that horrible echoing that's in the background of the shop. Seriously, I hate that. This is the finish that we're going to be doing today. It's going to be done on a new built piece of furniture. This is really important. I've had requests in the past or questions in the past if this can be done over something that's already got a finish on it. And really I'm going to say no, because you need the stain to be able to take into bare wood. You can absolutely do this on a piece that you've stripped down, but the wood needs to be bare and clean before you start. So talking about starting, let's go over the materials that we'll need. So the things we're going to need to complete this project are 3 colors of stain, some latex paint, and I've had questions about this before. Any latex paint will do. I've used some spare ceiling paint, believe it or not, for this one because it's got a really nice consistency to it. So we've got the 3 colors of stain, which are Minwax Classic Grey, Minwax Provincial, and Rustoleum's Dark Walnut. You're going to need a paintbrush, a couple of stain brushes, some clean rags, and yep, you can see it there, a wire brush. We're going to start first and foremost by making sure your project's nice and clean. So just make sure there's no dust on it. Give it a quick wipe down before we start. Next, taking one of your stain brushes and your dark walnut stain, we're going to lay down some of the dark walnut, but we're not going to cover the whole top. We're just going to go with a nice fluid motion from left to right, just laying down some of that nice brown color so that there's still some of the bare wood showing underneath. And we're going to carry on here until just the top part's covered, because this is a kind of finish again that we need to do in stages. So I'm just going to finish the top here and then we can move on to the next part. Now we've got the brown on, we're going to take the classic grey colour, and in those areas where we don't have any of the dark walnut, we're going to go over with the classic grey in the same motion back and forward that we did before. But what we're going to do with this step is we're going to take a clean rag and we're going to blend the grey in as we work along. This gives us a nice blended multi-tone stain base for the next stage that we're going to do after this. As you can see here, I took the top off. It's just easier for me to be able to show you how to do the stain effect on the legs, and it's easier to get to as well. So we're going to do exactly the same all over the base that we did on the top. Nice fluid strokes, first with the dark walnut, and then over top, blending as we go with the classic grey. Now we're going to take the classic grey and we're going to put that into the spots that didn't get any of the dark walnut. Nice fluid strokes, and once we've covered the whole front of this, we're going to grab the rag and we're going to blend it all in together, much the same as we did the top. So now we've got the whole piece covered in this stain effect, and this in and of itself is a really nice finish. But what we're using it as for today is a base for the next coat to go onto. So for the next step, which we can complete straight away, is we're going to take our off-white latex paint. Now, as I said before, this is an old ceiling paint. And ceiling paint's good because it isn't too thick. It's got a really nice consistency. So we're going to brush that on, not too heavy. Then we're going to take the wire brush, as you can see here, and we are going to blend the paint into the stain finish below with the wire brush. Using the wire brush gives two effects. First, as I've just said, it helps to blend it into the stain below, but it also gives a linear effect as well. So when we come to do the next step of this finish, then there will be a really nice color graduation. And just as a side note, that wobbling in that table is really annoying me. I've got it up on two 2x6s and one is obviously not right, and the table keeps wobbling, and the OCD person in me is getting really annoyed. So we're just going to do a quick close-up so you can actually see what your finish will look like after you've done the wire brushing and the off-white paint. It's a really good idea, if you have one, to periodically just blow off any of the excess little paint clinkers, if you like, because they do collect as you are wire brushing. So that's always just a really good idea because it will keep your piece nice and clean. Now with the second stage done, this is how your piece is going to look. And again, it's one of those stages that in and of itself, it's a really nice finish on its own. But we're not going to stop there. We're going to go one step further. The final stage of this finish, we're going to take another color stain, and this is Minwax Provincial. We're just going to dip a rag into the stain and we're going to rub it all over the piece. This part needs to be done when the paint's dry. So basically after you've put your paint finish on, wait for about an hour before you start putting this provincial top coat on. We're just going to buff it all over, rubbing it in quite hard, so that we're just really getting a slight glaze over the top, And look at that finish. It's just a beautiful, beautiful color. I'm going to go over the whole piece like this, and next I'm going to give you a quick insight on homemade hardware that you can put on something like this to give it that nice industrial rustic feel. So here's the awesome DIY hardware. I got the idea from an account called Sawdustandsmoke on Instagram. And whilst it's not specifically their idea, it's been around for a while, I just wanted to give her a shout out because that's where I found the idea. So I bought two 6-inch by 1/2 inch galvanized steel pipes, and I bought four 90-degree 1/2 inch corners and four 1/2 inch by 1 inch bolts. And literally all you do is put them together. I gave them a quick spray with a Rustoleum hammered effect spray paint because it just gives a really nice color. And then when that was dry, just bolted them in from the back and done deal. I think these look awesome.
So I've got mine finished here with the hardware on. Point to remember that when you put your finish on, you're going to need to wait 24 hours after the last coat of the Provincial stain was put on for it to dry. It's going to feel pretty rough. So what you're going to do, you're not going to sand it first. You're going to make sure it's clean. Put your clear coat on, satin, semi-gloss, water-based, oil-based, whatever you want. But put your first coat on, wait for that to dry, and then take a 320 or a 400 grit sandpaper and lightly buff it. Wipe off any dust, go over it again with another clear coat, repeat with the sandpaper, then one last clear coat, and it's going to feel nice and smooth, and you're not going to ruin this finish that you spent so long doing. So I hope you all found this useful. This is not by any means the absolute way you have to do this. This is just the way that I do this kind of finish if it's something that's requested. So I thought I'd share the how-to with you. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video and you want to see more, hit subscribe. And if you'd like to come and follow me on Instagram, then just look up Rustic Duck Furniture, and I'll look forward to seeing you there. Until next time, bye-bye.